This video is brought to you by Death Before Bondage. This is brought to you by Death Before Bondage.
Observing the signs.
There's sort of micro expressions of disgust.
What was she like? Just dissatisfaction with life in general. I could never please her.
Detecting changing stories.
I'm trying to help you, and I'm trying not to sign this.
We got a guy who's getting all kinds of advice from everybody. Most of all, don't talk to anybody.
I'm reticent to volunteering information that will simply be twisted and used against me.
Spotting when to hold back.
Steiger actually feels quite hard done by. He feels that he was helping police with their inquiries.
I have put myself here as a result of being cooperative.
And when to close in.
My only goal in this was to locate Cassandra.
You've destroyed my life. I'm broken. I feel like giving up.
I'm Vivica A. Fox, and I'm about to give you exclusive access into the secrets of the interrogation room. See how the world's finest detectives, armed with only their wits, hone in on their suspects, break down their lies, and expose the shocking truth. We'll examine the signs a suspect is lying, while revealing the expert techniques that result in an all-important confession and justice for the victims and their families.
This is a very intelligent man, and this is going to be a very, very interesting interview.
In Pensacola, Florida, 53-year-old businessman Henry Steiger has violated his parole conditions after being convicted for fraud. He is being held at Santa Rosa County Jail while cops investigate his financial activities.
I'll take these off while we talk. I'll make you a little more comfortable, okay? Nice seat for me in that same chair. Okay. Be right back with you, okay? Okay. Henry.
How you doing?
Well, not so great. I think you guys know that, though.
Yeah, I can imagine. Not so great. You got bags under your eyes. You sleeping okay?
No, not sleeping okay at all. Bad dreams and helplessness. And I don't know. Do you really care?
Who's right here?
But Detectives Alverson and Wilhite are not here to talk to Steiger about his fraud charges. They're here to talk about a different investigation entirely.
I want to talk to you about some other stuff, and it's come up. And if you want, I would like to talk to you. If you want to talk to me,
I'll try.
okay.
25-year-old nurse Cassandra Robinson has been reported missing by one of her sisters. Cassandra is the mother of Henry Steiger's 18-month-old daughter, Evelyn. At the time of her disappearance, nearly 6 months ago, they were living together, even though, according to Steiger, they were no longer romantically involved. Until his arrest for the unrelated financial crime, Steiger had been helping the cops with their investigations around Cassandra's disappearance. In a previous interview at his home, Steiger explained that after Evelyn's first birthday, Cassandra had decided that she would go away for some time alone to recharge her batteries.
So when she left, it was not a surprise to me that she didn't come back for quite a while. We previously talked about it. It was planned in advance.
What was planned? She said she was going on vacation.
Oh yeah, we had the little birthday party, and her bags were right there, ready to go. So I knew she was leaving, and she knew she was leaving, and she left under the terms of much-needed vacation, which I was very sympathetic for.
But Cassandra's family haven't heard from her in nearly 6 months, and neither has Steiger. Can he help detectives shed light on where she might have gone?
Even though I've been told many times never talk to the police from many different sources, and even though I've had my own negative experiences with talking to the FBI and police in previously last year, I've also had negative experiences talking with the two of you. I've lost everything in a very short period of time, so I'm reticent to volunteering additional information that will only, in the worst case scenario, simply be twisted and used against me.
When I started watching the interview footage of Steiger, I was quite impressed with how intelligent he is. He's obviously very clever. This is a man who loves his daughter and is very family orientated.
In 1 week's time, I lost my business. You got my car, you got my child is separated from me, which is the worst thing. And, I can't pay the rent, so I'm losing the house.
My only goal in this was to locate Cassandra and find out what happened to her. When we came to your house, that's what we talked about, We didn't talk about your finances.
We did talk about my finances for some reason. Why did we bring that up?
I have no idea.
It was at the initial home interview, around the time of Cassandra's disappearance, that Steiger inadvertently alerted the cops to his own financial irregularities.
Do you work?
Yeah.
Where do you work at?
I roast coffee at a facility on Semantis. I do roasting. I'm developing proprietary technology for roasting coffee as well as new delivery systems.
How long have you been doing that?
About a year and a half. We're just still in the process of forming all the formal registrations and so forth. So we had to take one of our kind of secretary people and have him open a bank account.
What's his name?
His name is Julian.
Julian? What's Julian's last name?
Julian Mazur.
Mazur? So he's an owner, partner.
He's kind of like a secretary. He's an agent to the company. He did us the favor of opening the bank account.
Along with the opening of the company bank account, Julian Mazur had also allowed Steiger to use his name for the purchase of 2 cars and the leasing of a storage unit. Because Steiger had been recently convicted of fraud and was still on probation, the detectives reported the unusual arrangements to the federal police.
As a result of that, he has actually ended up in prison because of some sort of money laundering or irregularities in relation to his finances. And now, Steiger actually feels quite hard done by. He feels that he was helping police with their inquiries.
He is really angry about it and blames the fact that he's in jail on the 2 investigators who are sitting in front of him. Basically, he is accusing them of being the reason why he's currently sitting in the situation that he's in.
Effectively and practically speaking, you have disassembled everything that I've been working for. I'm broken. I feel like giving up. And maybe that's your goal. And I also know that whenever there is a significant other, he's the number 1 suspect. I get that, okay? And so you have to start there.
Steiger is right. Although their relationship isn't a conventional one, he is the father of Cassandra's child and the last person to have seen her before she vanished.
So my most recent interaction with my attorney said to me, for God's sakes, do not speak to any police officers without an attorney present. It can never do you any good. That was the last piece of advice I got from my attorney.
Now we got a guy who's pretty cagey. He's in jail. He's getting all kinds of advice from everybody. Most of all, don't talk to anybody. Whatever you do, don't talk, okay? Shh, be quiet.
The helpful Henry Steiger that detectives first encountered in his home has changed. They've lost his trust, which could be disastrous for their investigation into the fate of Cassandra Robinson.
Steiger may not even be involved in Cassandra's disappearance. And so they've got to build this rapport. They've got to have this sort of relationship where Steiger may actually give them some information which could lead to another avenue of investigation. So it's really important to do that.
All of these things that I've lost are a direct result of a single conversation with you. And you. I mean, I want to be cooperative. I think you've seen me be cooperative. And yet, I have put myself here as a result of being cooperative. So I don't know what to do. If you wanted to supply a list of questions that I could somehow prepare to answer or have my attorney look at, as it says here.
Henry's definitely a control freak. He definitely thinks that he's the center of attention. He wants to control this interview, and he's letting detectives know from the get-go that I want to be in control here.
I believe that he's answered those questions because he feels that he can. He feels that he's mischief-making. He feels that he's got the upper hand with the officers, and he's trying his utmost to intimidate them as individuals.
There's an expression that says, those that control the frame control the outcome. And to me, what that means is that a police interview is dependent upon everyone playing their role. And that means that the police are in a superior position. The suspect is in a sort of submissive position. But within the Steiger interview, Steiger's not playing his role. He's sort of manipulating the police officers, if you like. So right from the outset, I thought this is a very intelligent man, and this is going to be a very, very interesting interview.
The stakes are high for both sides of this interrogation. For Henry Steiger, it's about getting out of jail and being reunited with his baby daughter, Evelyn. For Detectives Alverson and Wilhite, it's about finding out what has happened to Cassandra Robinson, a young mother who has been missing for nearly 6 months. Coming up, is Henry Steiger a hero?
I'm saving you and this child and this relationship.
Is he actually saving her, or is he controlling her?
Or is he a deluded narcissist?
He's so overwhelmingly arrogant that he believes in his self-prophecy.
I think that she saw in me an opportunity to be in a different world than the world she was raised in. A world that she had more respect for and wanted to be a part of.
Detectives Alverson and Wilhite of the Pensacola Police Department are working an unusual missing persons case. 25-year-old nurse Cassandra Robinson was reported missing on June 8th of 2018. Neither friends, family, nor the father of her child, Henry Steiger, had seen her for 6 months.
When someone goes missing, and it's somebody without means, somebody who's not wealthy and has the ability to go missing on purpose, right? It's almost always bad news because most people, they don't move 5 feet without their telephone. I don't care who you are, what country you live in, how poor you are, you almost always have a phone. So when you're not finding any activity on their ATM cards, their public aid cards, their telephone, and it goes about 72 hours, something bad happened.
But Henry Steiger seems more worried about his finances and the possible fraud charges than Cassandra's whereabouts.
I can tell you that the situation that I'm in with the feds could potentially be never-ending. They haven't charged me yet, but they could. And it never ends. And you can't defend yourself against them.
With a toddler to take care of on the outside, it seems justified for Steiger to be focused on his incarceration and financial plight. But is he also being strategic?
Steiger continued to try and bring the whole discussion back to the federal charges, the money laundering and the other items that he's involved in. It was his way of trying to control the interview, to steer the officers away from asking the questions for which they were actually there. He was trying to avoid the delicate conversation around the disappearance of Cassandra.
You're trying to put me in a spot where I'm in the worst possible condition of my life.
Well, I don't know you,
I
so
hope
I
that's
don't know
for.
you
I
your whole
hope that's.
life.
I hope that's for a good purpose in the end.
Well, I hope it is, because you've got that beautiful little girl, I gotta find Cassandra.
The detective's primary motive going into this interview is to find out what happened to Cassandra. They are going to show all the patience in the world and do whatever they have to work through Henry's stumbling blocks, the things that he's upset about, the reasons he doesn't want to talk. They will do whatever they feel they have to do to get to the point, which is what they need to find out about Cassandra.
To get past Henry's defenses, Detective Alverson tries moving to safer ground. She stops talking about Cassandra's disappearance and instead inquires about their relationship. Steiger takes the bait.
What was she? Was she like?
Just general disconcert.
Right.
Just dissatisfaction with life in general. I could never please her.
Mm-hmm.
And she was dissatisfied with our relationship in that I could not give her, honestly, what she wanted. She wanted more of a peer-to-peer romantic partnership kind of relationship. Mostly it became me babysitting her and becoming a caretaker for her and helping her up. And, maybe that's the savior complex in me from being the big brother. So when the relationship converts to, and most all my girlfriend relationships convert to little sister, big brother relationships. Mm-hmm. And then
and the romance is kind of gone.
Steiger and Cassandra first met 4 years earlier in 2014. He claims Cassandra was working in a strip club, but after they became romantic, he helped her begin a new life.
Look, I put her through the nursing school. I got her out of Pensacola. She asked me, help me get out of this drug scene. And I made her get her own job and pay her own rent. But I would have to come to town every once in a while and buy $400 worth of groceries for her and stock her up. Mm-hmm. And she was living so meagerly. I was proud of her. And she knows proud of her. And that relationship was, I'm proud of you for this progress that you're making.
When Steiger talks about himself and he talks about his relationship with Cassandra, he does talk about him saving her. And he does seem to have this sort of saviour image of himself. And that to me would straight away bring some alarm bells, because is he actually saving her? Or is he controlling her? Is he dominating her? How much freedom did she actually have?
In 2016, Cassandra became pregnant. Despite Steiger's description of their failing relationship, Cassandra moved in.
So, to understand the context of the story, I moved her in under the understanding that I didn't know if the child was mine. I didn't move her in case the child was mine. I thought it was unwise for her to have that child in her condition of life, her position in life. I'm a saver, right? I'm saving you and this child, and I put them in my guest bedroom. So I didn't move them into my master bedroom. I didn't. You're not hearing the context of us being in a family relationship. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to take care of you like a family relationship, mm-hmm. and that's really the best I can do for you. Mm-hmm. And some might think that was quite a good deal.
But then you found out it is your baby, and that's even a bigger deal.
Well, the world changes for you when you realize you have a baby.
Sure.
And I already loved her, so it wasn't like it was an inconvenience.
Do you think Cassandra wanted what she couldn't have?
I think she doesn't feel like she fits in with her family at all. And I think that she saw in me an opportunity to be in a different world than the world she was raised in.
Right.
A world that she had more respect for and wanted to be a part of.
He delivers the traits of a psychopath. He believes that he is the saviour. His arrogance is overwhelming. You watch the interviews and the way that he delivers his answers and the way that he deals with the officers. He's so overwhelmingly arrogant that he believes in his self-prophecy.
What he's really saying is that he believes himself to have this special purpose in his life. He believes that he's got some sort of dispensation to do pretty much whatever he wants, to whoever he wants.
The detective's strategy is working. No longer upset with them or defensive, Steiger is confidently reaching out and taking the initiative to build rapport.
You don't much care what people think about you. You're more like this guy here who doesn't care what people think about him. And you,
I do really care.
You do care? Okay. I think everybody, has a heart.
Deep down, I do have a heart, and I'm a very compassionate person, so I do care.
Steiger tries to ingratiate himself with the detectives. He tries to build a rapport, and at one point the detective shows a photograph of his own child.
This is my do no wrong. She can do no wrong in my eyes.
So they sort of build up this camaraderie, but from the detective side of the coin, that is good, because he's building that friendship, that rapport, that trust, and that may then present a false sense of security, which may allow Steiger to put his guard down, because again, it's about getting the truth.
You should know that I respect you and what you're doing in your job, and that I hope I haven't said anything to make you feel like...
You've actually been very respectful to me.
Okay, good.
You've never said anything. I've had people say all kind of crazy stuff, but it's always been very respectful.
So after you found out you were the father, did she ever, use that against you?
When the detective asked him, did Cassandra ever threaten to take the baby away from him, they're trying to give him it's a segue into going, well, and how did you feel about that? And what were you willing to do about it? And how far are you willing to go to prevent that from happening? And that's one of those questions you hope he bites on, and maybe he overcommits to it.
She used that against me before she knew it was mine, before I knew it was mine. She did that all along.
Right. Did it ever make you nervous when she would say that kind of stuff? That she was going to actually do it?
Her whole life made me nervous. Yeah, she's not a controllable person.
Right. When she said that she was going to go on her vacation, did she say that she was going to take Evelyn with her?
No.
No,
that she needed a vacation from the schedule.
I got you. And you were like, okay, you're not going to take the baby, I'm cool.
It wasn't like that. It was like I was sympathetic to her reason for wanting to go, which was the schedule. The schedule was driving her nuts.
So in terms of Steiger's responses in respect to his daughter and his partner, emotionally, they're two very different responses. When he speaks about the partner, there's sort of micro-expressions of disgust. If you slow down the footage, you'll see the nose crinkle, and it's this sort of bad smell, they're almost imperceptible to the human eye. So that tells me that, he has also contempt, really, for her, and not much respect. It's clear that he really idolises the daughter. He's got her on a complete pedestal.
How long was it till you kind of got in a routine with the baby?
So she takes her bottle, and when she's done with it, like a surgeon, she just hands it to me.
Right.
Does without looking at me.
Yeah, take it.
I take it, set it on the table, and then she curls up and goes to sleep. And then in the middle of the night, or when she's thirsty, she'll sit up and just point.
Get me something.
And I'll reach for the bottle. There's different colors of bottles, and she knows which one she wants.
Is that the love of a father, or is that somebody who doesn't want that child to be a possession of someone else? So the love of a father wouldn't take away jealousy, hate, and all the other indicators in this particular person's case. He does not want Cassandra to be part of this child's life.
So can we go back to our life, please?
Henry Steiger has opened up about his relationship with Cassandra, claiming they were no longer romantically involved when she disappeared. And despite her being the mother of his child, he has portrayed her as an unreliable, absent parent for whom he has little respect. But for the cops, this is a red flag. They believe a controlling, deluded narcissist has revealed himself. Now that Henry is feeling confident, Detective Alverson is ready to move in with evidence that they've been holding back on in an attempt to finally get to the truth about Cassandra Robinson. Coming up, shocking evidence Steiger can't deny.
So we pulled it out. These containers were here. Do you recognize these containers? At this time, the odor was very strong.
Could there be an explanation?
Well, it is a story that I don't think anyone would believe. And that's my problem.
Even at this point, he can't take responsibility. That's who he is, to his core.
Henry Steiger says his on-off girlfriend, Cassandra Robinson, went away on vacation but never returned. That was 6 months ago, claiming their relationship was already over when she left. He has been happily sole parenting their daughter, Evelyn, ever since. The interrogation room has become a place of trust and friendly chat as Steiger and the detectives compete to charm and seduce each other. But their game of cat and mouse is about to end.
We've got to appreciate, the mother of his child is missing. She's been missing for some time. And in most people's minds, they'd be frantic, they'd be fraught. They'd want to do everything they could to find the person. They'd be anxious, crying, there'd be waves of different emotion, anxiety, anger, fear, not knowing what's going on. And yet, this is a man that just wants to have fun with the cops.
So Henry thought he was a filibuster. He thought that he was doing everything right in order to obfuscate what the officers were asking. He didn't think for 1 minute those officers had any form of evidence to link him to the disappearance of Cassandra.
But the cops have been busy investigating Steiger's life. They've discovered he owns a large trailer for storing hot air balloon equipment. It's parked at business associate Shelby Johnson's property on the outskirts of Pensacola.
In this investigation, things have developed, and I've learned more about you and about this whole situation. So 2 days ago, we brought Mr. Shelby Johnson in. And so we talked to Shelby for a while. And he said that you had a trailer on his property that had the balloon stuff in it. Is that true that you have a trailer over there at his property that has your ballooning stuff in it? How long has it been parked there?
I don't know. He would know.
He told me about a month.
That sounds about right.
I don't know. Where was it parked before that?
It was at my house.
When they mentioned Shelby and the trailer, all of a sudden you notice Henry touches his face. He also has this blinking that suddenly starts to happen. So there were a lot of non-verbal cues that he was giving at that time during that part of the questioning that were indicative of discomfort, not wanting to be there.
Up until that point, he's very animated. He sits forward, he's waving his arms around, he gesticulates. He's very, very animated. But as soon as they start talking about the trailer, he withdraws. He becomes a lot more quiet. And he's now at the point where he's thinking about, how do I control the situation now?
Detective Alverson has been playing with Steiger all along, building him up, feeding his ego. Now she will start to break him down, fact by fact.
So one of the things that officers are trained to do is a thing called staged disclosure. What they do is they drip feed things and introduce them into the interview. And that's done in this particular interview to great effect.
So we went over to take a look at the trailer and took some pictures of it. Is that it? Is that your trailer?
Mm-hmm. We're aware of the fact you've got this trailer, but then they, every few minutes, introduce a little bit more evidence.
I was back here trying to get the tag number off the back here, and I detected an odor that I recognize very well from doing this job.
I use the analogy of someone juggling balls. Every time they give Steiger a bit more information, they're saying, right, now juggle that, now juggle that.
And it's the odor of decomposition in a human body. Okay? So we pull the trailer out and we open up the door and we found under, I guess this is your basket for your hot air balloons. So we pulled it out. These containers were here. Do you recognize these containers? At this time, the odor decomposition very strong.
There was the smell of death, and we found this and we found that.
And then we located this container here. Do you recognize this container?
And ultimately, we've discovered the body.
I'm trying to figure that out. How Cassandra wound up in this barrel, sealed in your balloon trailer, parked in Shelby's property. I'm trying to figure out how in the world that could happen.
So eventually, what happens is his brain goes into what we call cognitive overload. So it can no longer juggle the balls, and then what tends to happen is the person just effectively drops the balls, and that's when the confessions come.
I want to tell you, I don't think you're that guy, all right? Something happened.
When the female detective moves in close to him, that's a specific move that an interrogator makes to close the space. Okay, now we're friends, we're close, and now we're closer. And when I get close to you, I'm going to touch you maybe, because that's going to humanize you, all right? That touch is going to disarm you and make you feel like I like you, I'm your friend. It's an intimate move on the part of an interrogator. It often will break the dam, and they'll just give it up at that point.
I don't think it was a planned and on purpose thing, because you love little Evelyn, and I don't think you would do anything to harm Evelyn or harm Evelyn's mother.
Of course not.
I just need to know what happened, and I need to know it from you.
Well, it is a story that I don't think anyone would believe. And that's my problem.
Even at this point, he now knows that he is caught. They have his trailer, they have his keys that open the trailer, and they have Cassandra's body in the barrel, in the trailer. And he's like, it's an unbelievable story that nobody else will believe. I can't take responsibility. That's who he is, to his core. It's everybody else's fault.
Despite being confronted by irrefutable evidence that he murdered Cassandra Robinson, Steiger is in no mood to admit it. Detective Alverson has conducted a clever, non-confrontational interview that's worked very well to this point. But to get a confession from Steiger, she will need to penetrate the entrenched narcissism of a remorseless killer. Coming up, can Detective Alverson get a confession?
Do not leave me any other choice but to believe the monster did that.
He's so arrogant, and he believes that he can control the direction of that interview.
And Steiger faces the horror of what he's done.
This is the way she was found.
The police interrogation of Henry Steiger over the disappearance of his on-off girlfriend, Cassandra Robinson, has been a high-stakes game of psychology, each side careful not to give too much away. Finally, Detective Alverson has played her trump card. She revealed that they found Cassandra's decomposing body in a barrel in Steiger's trailer. Her hope is to overwhelm Steiger with a chain of shocking evidence that will lure him into a confession.
Is it your trailer? Yes. Are these your containers? Yes. So now we're building on these admissions, and once you get them into the yes mode, and in fact, is that Cassandra's body? Yes. And you put it there, didn't you, Henry? Yes. That's your goal. You want the confession.
But so far, Steiger hasn't surrendered, and he isn't done playing games.
Well, is a story that I don't think anyone would believe. And that's my problem.
Well, I would like to hear it.
It's just not a matter of something that I have any kind of confidence that anybody would really understand.
This is a heavy load for you to be having to deal with. I can imagine what you've been going through.
I'm at peace with what occurred. I understand it.
What happened?
I'm not happy about it, but I understand it. I don't think I can get anyone else to understand it, so I haven't explained it to anyone. I haven't shared it with anyone. So I guess this is the part where I need an assistant to help me decide what to say and what not to say.
Well, I can't help you, and I can't help to tell your story if I don't know it.
And I probably need assistance in presenting that, professional assistance in presenting that story.
It's at this point he then decides that he needs legal help, and he decides to stop talking. And to be honest, I'm quite surprised that he didn't ask for legal representation earlier, but I think that that's part of his arrogance. He believes that he can control the direction of that interview. He believed he was more intelligent. He believed that he had the brains to overcome the evidence, the detectives, all these factors that were going to point at him. And at this point, he realizes he's not, and he does need help.
Before Steiger shuts the door completely, Detective Alverson makes a final move. She tries to connect him emotionally with the brutality of what he's done.
This is the way she was found.
By showing him a picture of Cassandra's remains, what she looks like after spending an extended period of time in this barrel, in a trailer in the heat, is definitely to gauge Henry's response. See how does it affect him? Is this something that's going to make him feel like he needs to talk to her, he needs to confess? Like, what's it going to do? What's interesting to me is that Henry actually just...
Priceline has all these amazing deals. Deals.
Just stared at it and then leaned forward and had a really good look at the picture, which I thought was very telling.
They've got the evidence. They've got enough to convict him. There's no question about it. But everybody, listen, you do an interrogation to get a confession. That's your goal. That's the end game.
But will it be enough to get Steiger to confess?
I don't want to believe that you're a monster. I want to believe you're a good person, and that you're going to be, you're a good dad. That's what I was believing.
Thank you.
But you're not leaving me any other choice but to believe this is a bad thing and a monster did that. And I don't want to believe that. That's why I'm just giving you the opportunity to tell me what happened here.
Well, I think I need the opportunity to explain to you with professional assistance.
And that's fine. I understand. I don't know if I'll see you again, unless you call and want me to come over here, but I wish you the best.
Thank you.
I'm gonna pray for Ellen. I'm gonna pray for you.
Thank you.
Certainly. Praying for Cassandra and Cassandra's family. Okay. Thank you.
Evelyn, it's her birthday every year. When those candles are lit and she blows them out, tell her to make a wish. I hope her soul wishes in every year that her mom was here.
I think that that's definitely an indication to Henry what Heath actually thinks of Henry. That he feels like Henry's ripped the mother of Evelyn away, and that's what their perception of. So this nice guy game that they were playing the whole time was really their job.
You love Mr. Steiger?
With Steiger in jail and going nowhere, the cops spend another 2 weeks gathering evidence. An autopsy report concluded that Cassandra had been murdered, but because of the decomposition of her body, the manner in which she was killed could not be determined. Nevertheless, on July 27th of 2018, Henry Steiger was charged with the second-degree murder of Cassandra Robinson.
They obviously charged Henry with second-degree murder in this investigation because those were the elements of the crime that they could prove. Possibly one of the elements of first-degree murder, the premeditated part, was absent in the evidence that they had available at the time.
Steiger pled not guilty, determined to have his day in court. Here, he would finally explain what happened to Cassandra.
He stated that she died at her own hand by way of a shopping bag, suggesting that she's committed suicide or it was an accident.
He's suffocating herself accidentally on purpose, just more ridiculous, grasping at straws. But when you're desperate, you'll say or do anything.
The prosecution presented a very different story. It was based on forensic evidence and the extraordinary testimony of Steiger's junior business partner. Julian Major confessed to helping Steiger conceal Cassandra's body. Steiger told him that after an argument, Cassandra decided to leave with their daughter. He had then started to strangle her. Cassandra was unable to fight back because she was holding and protecting their child.
He was found guilty and he was sentenced to life imprisonment. He did appeal against both these sentences and failed in his appeals.
Guys like Henry, it's all about them. They will go down to their grave telling everybody they're innocent, they didn't commit this crime, etc. Because Henry wants it his way all the time.